Glyphosate exposure, unseen dangers and steps to reduce your risk. Introduction. Glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup, has become the most widely used herbicide in history, with usage skyrocketing 100 to 300 times since the late 1970s. As a result, glyphosate exposure has become nearly unavoidable, with studies detecting its presence in 60% to 80% of the general population through contaminated food, water, and air. Despite regulatory claims that glyphosate is safe and quickly excreted, emerging research paints a far more concerning picture. Glyphosate accumulates in vital organs, disrupts endocrine function, and may even cause generational health impacts through epigenetic changes. This article explores the dangers of glyphosate exposure, its impact on human health, and actionable steps to reduce your exposure through informed dietary choices. Understanding glyphosate and its pervasive presence. Glyphosate is a broad-spectrum herbicide primarily used to kill weeds and grasses that compete with crops. Initially patented as a chelating agent to clean industrial pipes, glyphosate was later discovered to inhibit the shikimate pathway in plants, preventing them from synthesizing essential amino acids. While proponents argue that the shikimate pathway does not exist in humans, this pathway is crucial for the gut microbiome, which plays a pivotal role in immune function, digestion, and even mental health. How glyphosate enters the body. 1. Contaminated food sources. Glyphosate residues are pervasive in conventional foods, particularly grains such as wheat, oats, and corn, which are often sprayed with glyphosate to dry them before harvest. Processed foods containing these ingredients further amplify exposure. 2. Drinking water and airborne exposure. Glyphosate seeps into groundwater and surface water, contaminating public water supplies. Airborne exposure is also possible through drift from agricultural applications, contributing to widespread environmental contamination. 3. Absorption through skin contact. Farm workers and those living near areas where glyphosate is sprayed face additional exposure risks through skin contact, inhalation, and environmental residues. The hidden dangers of glyphosate. 1. Accumulation in vital organs. Contrary to claims that glyphosate is rapidly excreted, studies reveal that it can accumulate in organs such as the kidney, liver, colon, and brain. Research published in Environmental Health demonstrated that glyphosate crosses the blood-brain barrier, raising concerns about its potential impact on neurological health. Additionally, glyphosate residues have been detected in human breast milk, highlighting its persistence in the body. 2. Organ damage and tumor development. A landmark 2-year study conducted by Dr. Gilles Eric Seralini and colleagues found that exposure to Roundup at doses far below permissible regulatory limits caused organ damage and increased tumor incidence in test subjects, particularly mammary tumors in female rats. These findings challenge the narrative that low-dose exposure is harmless. 3. Endocrine disruption and hormonal imbalance. Glyphosate has been classified as an endocrine disruptor, capable of interfering with the body's hormonal balance. It exhibits 8 out of 10 key characteristics associated with endocrine-disrupting chemicals, which include altering hormone production, interfering with hormone receptors, disrupting signal transduction pathways. Studies show that endocrine disruption may contribute to conditions such as infertility, developmental disorders, and hormone-related cancers. 4. Epigenetic changes and impact on future generations. Perhaps most alarming is the emerging evidence that glyphosate can induce epigenetic changes, modifying gene expression in ways that may affect future generations. Animal studies have shown that glyphosate exposure in one generation can lead to increased susceptibility to disease in offspring, suggesting that its effects may extend beyond the individuals directly exposed. Glyphosate and chronic disease, a growing connection. 1. Impact on the microbiome and gut health. Glyphosate disrupts the gut microbiome by inhibiting the shikimate pathway used by beneficial bacteria, such as bifidobacteria and lactobacillus, which are essential for maintaining gut health. Dysbiosis, or an imbalance in gut bacteria, is linked to inflammation, autoimmune conditions, and mental health disorders. 2. Increased risk of cancer. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, a division of the World Health Organization, WHO, classified glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans in 2015. Studies have linked glyphosate exposure to an increased risk of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and other cancers. Third contribution to fatty liver disease and metabolic dysfunction. Animal studies suggest that glyphosate exposure promotes the development of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, and metabolic dysfunction, conditions that are increasingly prevalent in modern society. How to reduce glyphosate exposure. 1. Switch to an organic diet. Research shows that switching to an organic diet can reduce urinary glyphosate levels by approximately 71% within 6 days. Organic farming practices prohibit the use of synthetic herbicides like glyphosate, significantly lowering exposure levels. Prioritize organic versions of the dirty dozen fruits and vegetables, which are most likely to contain pesticide residues. 2. Avoid processed and ultra-processed foods. Processed and ultra-processed foods often contain ingredients derived from conventionally grown crops sprayed with glyphosate. Minimizing consumption of these foods can drastically reduce your exposure. 3. Filter your drinking water. Glyphosate can leach into groundwater, making it essential to filter your drinking water. Reverse osmosis filtration systems effectively remove glyphosate and other contaminants from water supplies. 4. Be cautious with imported foods. Certain imported foods, especially grains and legumes, may contain higher glyphosate levels. Opt for locally sourced and organically grown products when possible. 5. Support detoxification pathways. Enhancing your body's natural detoxification pathways can help eliminate glyphosate residues. Consuming foods rich in sulfur compounds, such as garlic, onions, and cruciferous vegetables, and maintaining optimal glutathione levels can support detoxification. Conclusion. Glyphosate exposure poses significant risks to human health, with mounting evidence linking it to organ damage, endocrine disruption, and even epigenetic changes that may impact future generations. Despite claims that glyphosate is safe at low doses, research demonstrates that even minimal exposure can lead to harmful outcomes over time. By adopting strategies such as switching to an organic diet, avoiding processed foods, and filtering drinking water, individuals can significantly reduce their exposure and protect their long-term health.